guys, I'm James from the Omnic Post. A few months ago I did a first series on Overwatch Lore. In this series look at things we know about our heroes, about the organizations, about the world, through the game, the comics, the short stories, animated shorts, and even the developer comments. But we also try and look forward, do some theory crafting on what we can expect from Lore in Overwatch 2. The thing is, Overwatch 2 is getting really close now, but we'll have to wait till at least 2023 for the PvE part, which is going to be our main source for Overwatch Lore, especially in the future. See, what I'm trying to say here is that we'll need to be patient if we want to find out what will happen to the characters that we love and hate. But it shouldn't stop us from doing some research. Now for that first video, that first chapter, I took a look at Talon, the terrorist organization that is set on starting a war and benefiting from the chaos that is surely going to ensue. Now, I did Talon first for a really good reason, because I wanted to take a closer look at Reaper. Our resident edgelord has been part of this franchise since forever. Together with Winston, Tracer, and Widowmaker, he was actually featured in that first ever trailer we got to see at BlizzCon in 2014. You know, the one with the punch kid? And for some, it might feel like he hasn't changed much, both in game balance since they removed his orbs and in lore, especially the last few years. But that bitter man has layers, like an onion. Layers that might turn out to be very interesting and which will play a big role in all what is to come. I do need to start this all off with a note, however. There have been some contradictory pieces of information floating out there on Reaper, even the official stuff, which makes this task rather difficult. But I tried to make it in a somewhat coherent story. I hope you guys enjoy. Just don't get too upset if some pieces are not what you heard. Anyways, let's have a look at Reaper. Let's start with an obvious fact. Reaper's real name is Gabriel Reyes, but everyone and their aunt knew this by now, right? He was born in Los Angeles, California. We still don't know much about his early life, except that he used to be a police officer that lived in Echo Park with his wife Martina and their son. He ended up enlisting in the US Army and turned out to be a talented soldier, quickly working his way up to a senior officer role. Now, as threat levels rose, the US Army started a program called the Soldier Enhancement Program. A program in which they, enhance soldiers. Yeah, okay, it's just in the name. This is where he met Jack Morrison, who we know as Soldier 76. Reyes himself was known as Soldier 24 at the time. Jack and Gabriel became very good friends during their time in the program. For Marvel fans, this enhanced soldier thing might feel rather familiar, as it was the same thing that they did to Captain America, for instance. And spoiler alert, some other soldiers. And with similar results. Both men ended up with superior speed, stamina, aim. They basically installed an aimbot. Contrary to what some people seem to think, this is not where the Reaper side of Gabriel surfaced. I'm talking about that unique set of skills where he can fade in and out of existence, where he can heal himself of someone else's pain. But it definitely is where it all originated. See, both Jack and Gabriel went through the same treatment, and initially they probably had very similar results, but they went in as two very different people, two very different personalities. And that augmentation most likely not only enhanced their physical skills, but it also must have had an effect on their mental state, their personality traits. Proof of that is in their history. Both Gabriel and Jack were part of the original Overwatch team, together with Anna, Reinhardt, Torbjorn, and Mina Lau, which is Echo's mom. Originally, during the Omnic crisis, Reyes was their leader. But after they fought off all the Omnics, Overwatch as an organization changed. There was way more politics involved, something Reyes was and is not good at. So Jack Morrison was promoted to Strike Commander and took over leadership. His controlled nature made him a better leader, while Gabriel was the one you wanted to have front and center when the proverbial shit hit the fan. So he was given command over Blackwatch, the covert operations arm of Overwatch. That way they also sidestepped having to demote Reyes. They just moved him over. But Gabriel wasn't too pleased about all of this. Even if he most likely would have hated the political side that came with the Overwatch command, he was jealous. He resented Jack for taking over his job, the first major cracks in their friendship. And I personally feel that the enhanced personalities played an important role in this escalation. On one hand, it made Jack the perfect leader and the obvious choice. So much so that the UN would be inclined to discharge or move over the current leader. And all this right after he and the team basically saved the world. That would piss off anyone. But with his dark nature being enhanced, it made him vengeful. Something dark was growing in Gabriel, and it was clouding his mind. The sad thing is that all this darkness started from a good place. They came from his sense of justice. Like I said, we don't know much about his history, but if Los Angeles in the future is anything as it is today, it might not have been the easiest place to grow up. He most likely saw a lot of injustice, people getting hurt, and those that had blood on their hands get away with it, especially as a police officer. This could have been the reason why he joined the military, to get away from all that and make a difference. But sadly, that's not how the world works. Global conflicts, wars, politics, all of these are in essence not that different from city crime. Innocent people get hurt, and the real culprits, they often get away with it. Something he slowly learned himself, and which drove him further towards the darkness. I'm not talking about the band. The one occurrence that tilted him over the edge was when his good friend Gerard Lacroix, former husband of Amélie Lacroix, or Widowmaker, got seriously hurt during a Talon bombing the Blackwatch facility in Rome. Gabriel and Gerard have a shared story. It isn't clear what it is exactly, but it is safe to say that it made them good friends. Gerard ended up surviving the attack, but Gabriel was pissed, so he got a strike team together that included himself, Genji, Cassidy, and Moira. They set out to Venice to take the current Talon leader Antonio into custody. This is the Retribution's Archives missions that we've been playing for years now. If you haven't played it, you know that Antonio doesn't make it into custody, that Gabriel ends up shooting him. Another breaking point for the old Gabe, and a step closer to the Reaper we know today. Now, before I continue with the chronological story, let's take a step back. Because at this point, Moira already is in Blackwatch. Why is that so important? Well, Moira was recruited into Blackwatch by Gabriel himself. He knew about her skills in genetics, and he wanted her to help him with some issues he had. So even before Moira got her hands on him, he had issues of a genetic nature that he needed help with. You can interpret this in two ways. He either wanted her to keep building on what they did to him in the Enhanced Soldier program, because he saw his former friend taking his job, he was put aside, he feels like he failed, he blames the genetics, and he wants to push it further. The thing is though, Gabriel is ambitious. He most likely lost his family due to his job, but I don't think he's the mad professor or addicted bodybuilder type. What happened in my opinion is that his dark nature, his vengeful thoughts, started to define his genetic enhancements, and that he needed Moira to gain control over them. She needed to teach him or give him the tools to tame that beast that would end up becoming Reaper and that lived within him. Because at that point his mind was not set on chaos, it was set to justice. But him assassinating Antonio was the beginning of the end for both his personal career and Overwatch in general. Tensions rose between him and his former best friend Jack Morrison over the Venice incident. Tensions were so high that it came to a rebellion, a shootout, and even an explosion, leveling the Overwatch base in Switzerland. Gabriel woke up after that explosion with Moira staring at him. She explained how she saved his life, pumping him full of chemicals. These chemicals seemed to both kill and regenerate him at a rapid rate, allowing him to transform in this dark smoke that we all have seen plenty of times. Now, in the final weeks and months before the fight with Jack, Gabriel had been talking to Akande Ugundimu, aka Doomfist, the current leader of Talon, who was being held captive in an Overwatch facility. At first he was talking to him out of curiosity, maybe even to mock him, but Akande noticed Gabriel's fragile mind, his disrupted state, and he started manipulating him, slowly convincing that Talon is the way forward. So after he recovered from his fight with Jack in Switzerland, with some help from Moira, he ended up joining the terrorist organization. He saw in them the hammer that will drive down the nail of justice. He became one of Doomfist's most trusted lieutenants, taking part in some critical missions like the attempt to assassinate Katya Volskaya, the attack on Gibraltar, where they stole a lot of data. They released Sigma, and it was Reaper that liberated Doomfist from his holding cell, although I don't think Akande needed a lot of help, to be honest. But what does the future look like for Gabriel? Is he completely lost to Reaper? Well, I don't think so. We have seen flares of Gabriel, moments where he is confronted by his past and where the murder machine stutters. He clearly still hasn't come to peace with his past. In one of the early comics, Anna learns that Gabriel is hiding under the Reaper mask. She is shocked by both his appearance and the fact that he turned out to be this murderous maniac. Reaper tells her that Jack did this to him, that he made him who he is. He's that classic villain, alright. Now in a holiday comic, we see him staring at Martina and her son from the dark. He clearly has not forgotten about his family. In the Code of Violence short, he keeps wondering if she would still recognize him. But Gabriel is still in there. And if Star Wars learned us anything about evil people with dark helmets, well, but seriously, do I think he'll ever find his way back to sanity, to redemption? Maybe, but in a way, I hope not. It would be too predictable. I do feel, however, that Doomfist should not turn his back on him. Sure, for now he is being a good officer. The world is going down a path which will bring back a lot of painful memories for Gabriel. In Overwatch 2, Talon is aligning themselves with Null Sector. Okay, aligning might not be the correct term here, but they're definitely going to be working together. The Omnic crisis made Gabriel hate Omnics, and those memories might help the old Overwatch soldier in Gabriel to fight and gain control over Reaper just long enough to deliver a huge blow to Talon's plans. After that, he might just slip into a new level of darkness. Disappointed, alone, and he sure as hell blamed Jack for all of this. But that was it for this lore video. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it and what you think. Maybe you have something to add to this story. Or you have a different source with some extra insights. Maybe you have an opinion on what the future for Reaper might look like. Let me know in the comments. I look forward to reading all of them. For now, that was it. There will definitely be more of these lore videos, but with Overwatch 2 approaching, we'll see how many I can do. I will, however, be back soon with a news update. So make sure to subscribe. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.